Ready for some cool ideas for defending your Fallout 4 settlement? In this series, we're looking at tactics, structures, electrical systems, and more to help you keep you and your settlers safe for when the enemy comes knocking at your door. What's up, guys? Darkdally here, playing Fallout 4. Today we're continuing the series on settlement defense ideas, and boy do I have some cool ideas for you guys today. This stuff was kind of complicated, as you'll see when we get in here, but this is going to make for some really great defense. Now, as you can see, I have built the hallway between the two buildings I said I was going to in my last video. Now, if you haven't seen the previous videos in the defense ideas playlist here, I'll have a link to the playlist in the description of this video so you can catch up to where we're at. This is only the third video. I said I'd build this little hallway here and it would provide some good shooting points in the case of an attack. I am running I'm running immersive gameplay as well as Raider overhaul, so attacks on my settlements can be pretty big and pretty hairy. So here we have this cool little hallway. Now let's check out everything here. I'm going to show you the stuff that we're going to go over in today's video. Okay, first of all, we've got these awesome doors. Okay, now these doors are meant to be open all the time. So I'll hit this switch. I'll show you what all these switches and all these wires and crap do, and do my best to lay out a little tutorial on how to do this stuff and what it does. These are intended to stay open, as this is pretty much a main thoroughfare for all the settlers that come through your settlements, as well as Trash Can Carla, by the way. Something I forgot about. She likes to stand right about here, and she's causing a problem for me. It's something I'll work around later. I did get a mod that's supposed to move her, but it's not working for me, so she kind of poses a little bit of a problem. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. First, let's look at these big doors here and how I did these. Now, I am using a mod, and it's called Power Doors Remote Control and Lock. It's a great mod. Let me go ahead and go into build mode here. What it does is, and I've showed this in previous videos, I've also done a tutorial and a review of the mod, and I'll have a link to that video in the description here. It gives you these little conduits right here. If I can get my mouse on it, there we go. Power door adapter. And what you do is you simply put that down and it detects the nearest door and turns it basically into a power door. So it can no longer be opened by conventional means. Instead, it works like a power door. That allowed me to power these doors. So that allows me to shut this off, and attackers cannot open them. Only I can open them and close them. Now, the way I have it set up, and I'll show you how the system works here, I've got two switches. Got a green switch. It's the two green ones here. And turning off either of these will shut all the doors. Now, I want to mention these doors were very hard to place. The mod itself is great, but putting the doors in such close proximity to one another, they were getting mixed up a lot. I had to replace them several times in a certain order to get it to work. It required a little bit of fiddling. It's not the fault of the mod author. It's me for overutilizing it and putting too many in too small a space. I just want to put that out there. These can be frustrating when you're putting two side by side, even though the conduits are there, and it causes problems, guys. Now, here's how I did these switches. I wanted one overall switch that could just close these doors. The problem is the settlement now, we kind of have a main area in here, and we kind of have a main area over there. So if I'm getting attacked by, say, 40 raiders, which is not uncommon for an attack, and I want to shut these doors immediately, I was like, well, where can I put the switch? So I put two in here, and here's what I did. This is actually pretty simple to understand, even though the wires are running all over the place. I simply have two switches and an AND gate right here. And the way it works is, it's an AND gate. So as long as both switches, as long as this switch and this switch are on, see, then both doors are open. So if I want to open them, I got to make sure both switches are on. That's not a big deal. What I want is, I wanted the ability to close them quickly. I can take my time opening them. I can hit two switches to open them if I have to. What's more important is that I'm able to close them quickly in the event of attack, and I can. Whichever switch I'm closest to, I can just come up, hit it, and all the doors shut. That's pretty straightforward, really. Just requires a little playing around with Power Doors Remote Control and Lock mod. And then, yeah, I just use an AND gate, and see, they didn't open because both switches aren't on. So I'll just have to go do this. And this is actually pretty workable. I'm fine with this. This is pretty cool. And if you happen to get locked out, I do have, let's go ahead and lock myself out. See, I were to fast travel here or something and they're closed. well, actually, my fast travel target's inside, but let's say for whatever reason I were to be out here, I do have these little delayed off switches, and it'll open this door for 3 seconds and then let it close. And really, that's just running off a parallel circuit straight from power to the door. It's just kind of bypassing the logic gate and everything. Now, I got some wires running in some weird places, and that's because I had a lot of problems today wiring this up. When you have this many wires, glitches are going to happen, and this is why I'm kind of hesitant to show you the next feature of this, because it's really cool, but I can't guarantee it's going to work for you. I encountered a lot of glitches. You encounter glitches when you start wiring up too much stuff like this. Those glitches being, you get some power conduits that don't work right. That's why the wire for that switch out there runs all the way into the house, because I could not change that switch's interval with it running off of this power conduit. Same with these logic gates, which I'll show you here in a minute what they do. Running off them, they were glitching out the logic gates. And meaning this XOR gate right here was showing 1 input but 0 output, until I changed it to a different power conduit, and then it was working. Guys, the game is not meant for the complicated electronics I do sometimes. And this right here is pushing the limit, to be quite honest, and it's very frustrating. I just want to put that out there because I spent a lot of time. Actually, this is the 3rd recording of this video. Now, that said, let's go ahead. Now everything is working now. I just had to move around which power conduits things are running off of. That's why I have wires running in weird places. Here's what these doors do. Let's look at these. These doors, these little windows here, allow you to shoot attackers. Now, again, the reason I have the mesh is so the projectiles can't come through, but you can still fire through them perfectly fine. So they're great for defense. But you don't want to have too many open at one time. See, if I have, let's say I'm shooting through this one, and there were raiders back here shooting at me, well, yeah, then I'm exposed. So what I wanted was a system where only one was open at a time, and that's what these logic gates here do. These logic gates allow it so that I can hit the switch by this one, and it closes this one, and opens this one. I can shoot here. When I'm done shooting here, say I want to switch back there, I can hit this switch, and this way you're never getting shot in the back. This is a cool logic gate system. I will show you how to do this, but I do not guarantee the results. Sometimes logic gates, look, I've said before they're not buggy, but that was a year ago. I've played around with them a lot more since then, and yeah, things can bug out in the electrical systems. But this works as I have it set up. The reason I keep mentioning this bug thing is because this one worked fine from the moment I did it. I built this one the exact same way. It would not work the same. I spent about 2 hours rearranging logic gates and wires before it finally worked. So, logic gates are frustrating, but these work the same way. You hit one, and this is a system that I've always wanted to design. It's simply a system, it's a great security door system where only one door can be open at a time in any given, no matter how you click these buttons, one of these doors will always be open, one will always be closed. Let's go ahead and show you how to do that, and I'm going to end this video because it's getting a little long. Sorry guys, I've tried like so many ways to do this video. Now here's what we're going to do. Best way for me to show you to do this is to build it from scratch in a nice clear area. The problem with that is that I don't have the mats to build another generator. With immersive gameplay, it's kind of hard to build generators. I don't want to cheat in console and materials, so I'm going to have to use this generator, which means I'm going to kind of temporarily going to have to, well, there's no way to get the generator out of here, because as soon as I disconnect it, it's going to actually, wait. I can probably see if I can pick it up and move it, because I want to show you guys this in a clear space. We do have place everywhere, so I should be able to get it out here. Yes, I can. Okay. That's gonna, okay, so I just pulled the generator out of there. Now let's go to a place where we can demonstrate this. Sorry, I just don't have the means to build another generator, so we got to use this one. Here is the basis of powering only one thing at a time, and or rather, I should say, having two loads in your circuit always in opposite positions. This is how you want to do it, be it doors, lights, or whatever. Let's do it with doors. Let's use those little doors, those power doors that come with Wasteland Workshop. They're nice and basic. Where are they at? I got some extra ones added in here by mods. Here we go. Here we go. Let's use these. So we're going to put these. We'll just pretend these are our shutters. And we're going to put a little wall here in the middle for the logic gates. It's going to require 3, and I'll show you why. Now, I do a basic logic gate thing for the doors that I make, which allows you to, if you've seen my doors, I'll have an XOR logic gate. I'll have a switch on each side. It allows you to hit the switch, open the door, And no matter which switch you hit in which order, it opens and closes the door. I've got a video tutorial on that. I've done it a couple times. I'll go ahead and I'll put a link to that in the description of this if you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, I'll wire one up right now because it's based on that system. Let's go ahead and grab an XOR logic gate. That's what I use for this. So first I'll just show you the basics of how I mean real quick here. Let's put one of these up. We're going to want two switches. So we're going to put a switch on this side of the door, and we're going to go ahead and put the switch. We're just going to act like these are the shutters, okay? Now, the basic thing is, this is as basic as I can do it. The wires are going to be a little tangled. You want to provide power to each switch. Don't have to understand how this works, just what order to hook everything up in. We're going to hook both these switches to this side of the logic gate, and then the logic gate to the door. Now, this is how all the doors in my settlements work. We'll just pretend like this switch is the one on the other side of the door. No matter which switch you hit in which order, it opens and closes the door. That's the technique I'm using for those shutters. The difference is I want to connect this door into the mix, and I want this door to always be the opposite of this door, right? Right. So I would just want, you know, essentially a NOT gate on the end of this would fix that, because a NOT gate would invert the signal from this and give it to that door. In theory, yes, that works, but it's not going to fully work. We'll have to add a third logic gate. Let me go ahead and just show you why. Let's go ahead and add this. Apologize for this getting so complicated, guys. It's been a real problem, especially when it doesn't work, because it doesn't always. It'll work here. This is a nice, simple little confined circuit, but when you're building in a place like I have there with a billion wires everywhere, it confuses the game or something. Now, if we just flip this signal and put it to this door, it will, for the most part, work. This door, they're both in the opposite position. See? They're in the opposite position. The problem comes when both switches are off. Now the logic gates don't have power, and there's nothing for it to invert to open this one. So we need a way to sneak some power in there, and for that I'm using an AND gate. This is where I was getting the problems. You may encounter problems with this. Problems as in, it'll say, like right there on the XOR, it'll say input 1, output 0. And you're just like, what? You're baffled, because that's the conditions for an XOR logic gate. But sometimes if that happens, you're just going to have to rewire stuff. And that's where it gets complicated. So here's what we're going to do. Let's take the NOT gate back out of the mix. So we just have the regular XOR gate. So we just have power to the switches, switches to the red post on the XOR, and the black post to the first shutter. Now, we want to supply some power to this NOT gate. I've heard multiple ways to do it, and none of them are reliable. I mean, I've heard people say you can bring power into the backside of it. That's never worked for me. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say, whoops, we're going to run power to this new AND gate. Well, we're going to wire to it. So we're wiring the AND gate from the XOR logic gate and from power. That goes where it's supposed to go. Now we're going to run the AND gate to the NOT gate. And voila. So this is how it works, but and this worked for one of those, but for the other one, I had to change the wires around. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant to post super complicated tutorials like this, because I can't guarantee this will work. Because if it doesn't work, then the tutorial doesn't mean much, because you have to know how it works in order to fix it. I'm sorry, guys. The game, you know, it's Bethesda's fault for not tweaking the logic gates or the power system in general perfect from the start. But that's how this is built. That's how I built those. Now, no matter how many times you hit these, they will always be inverse from one another. One will always be open, one will always be closed. I do want to put a master system to, shut them down or open them all. That, that would be like a parallel circuit I'd put in there, and I can do that. But I wanted to do as simply as I could for this video. Actually, I wanted to, in the video, build these live in the video as I went, and I did that. The problem was I kept encountering these glitches, and I had to wait till I had everything fixed and sorted out before I made the video. I hope you guys understand. I hope this was clear, and if not, I'll try to clear it up in the future. But this is a great system which has many applications. It's something I've always wanted to figure out, and I'd like to be able to add more doors into the mix, but it's going to make this logic gate thing a little more complicated, and that's going to take a little more time. So guys, that's kind of where we're at with this whole thing here. So we've got this all nice and ready to defend. I'm actually really looking forward, to getting attacked so that I can see how this really all, works in action and everything. Here I've reloaded my game and gotten rid of all the crap we built over there. And so this is pretty cool. We got the little flippy switches. This is really awesome, guys. This is really coming along great. I need to add some turrets into the mix and some more stuff. But as I'm playing on a really hard difficulty that requires a lot of careful gameplay, it's going to take me a minute to get the materials I need to make the turrets and such like that, and add more power to this. Honestly, the power is getting a bit sketchy. I'm kind of hesitant about adding more power in this immediate area because, I mean, look at these wires, guys. So I hope this was helpful, or at least entertaining. This is coming along really nice. This is going to be such a cool way to defend my settlement. This settlement's going to be so well defended. I'm looking forward to getting attacked. I need to get some resources out there so that raiders do want to attack. All right, guys. I know I went through everything pretty quick, but I had a lot to go over just in this one little small area here. So I hope it was clear. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Guys, my name is Darkdally. I will catch you guys next time.